I'm going to go through every team and I'm going to give you an assessment what I see after the first 3 games. I got some grades here for them. Tell me if you agree. Hour 2 National Football Show, Big Sales. Please hit the like button. By the way, 1 month of football. The first month of the National Football League, I'm going to go through every team and I'm going to give you an assessment what I see after the first 3 games. I got some grades here for them. Tell me if you agree. We'll do that. We'll also talk a little bit more about Doug's return to Philadelphia on Sunday. The 2022 Jacksonville Jaguars, the next opponent. Obviously, for the Eagles, we'll get into that. Boatload of stuff to hit on. We'll get to your takes. I do want to say this. So, some history was made last night by Aaron Judge. He ties Roger Maris's American League home run record for single season at 61. And Roger Maris Jr., I guess he's a physician, says that Bonds and Sosa and McGuire's records don't count. Like he's a doctor or something. What a dumbass comment. Are you under the impression that Bonds was the only guy during that era doing some supplements or doing performance-enhancing drugs? Eric Gagne, Roger Clemens, go down the list. Andy Pettit. Are you under some assumption that pitchers weren't doing it too to save their careers? Are you? Why does that only land on Bonds? And by the way, if performance-enhancing drugs are so effective, why don't you give those to blind people to improve your eyesight? Are you trying to tell me when Bonds hit 376, that improved his eyesight? Give it to blind people. Now, I'll agree to this. 72 home runs, you probably take 15 off that with warning track shots. But that guy's eye, he had won 3 MVP awards in Pittsburgh before he even got to San Francisco. Bonds was a Hall of Fame player before that. Idiotic comment. Idiotic comment. And by the way, you want to talk about suspicious. Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961. You know he never hit over 40 home runs any other time in his entire career. And I think he hit 30 twice. So, I don't know. Whatever you want to put on that. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying really weird. Okay? I mean, come on now. Roger Maris' son is not a doctor. He doesn't know shit in what he's talking about. And the stuff that Bonds took from Balco, Victor Conte, I know Victor Conte. When I was in the Bay Area, Victor Conte was a performance-enhancing expert. He's a doctor. The cream? Really? What steroid is that? It makes Bonds' head grew. Yeah, well, when you get older and fatter and bigger and more mature, every appendage gets bigger. How asinine. How asinine to go only after Bonds. Nobody really went after McGuire. McGuire's back in the game. He was a hitting instructor for the Padres and the Dodgers. Roger Clemens works in the Astros organization, but Bonds is a pariah? Come on, man. Now, Bonds was a jackass. I covered him. I actually like Barry. I got a signed picture from Bonds when I worked at KMBR. I'm a huge Barry Bonds. I never went to a game where I didn't say this, that Bonds is not the greatest player I've ever seen. Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player. 8 gold gloves. He's the only player in baseball history with 500 stolen bases and 500-plus home runs. The guy was a freak show. Not the greatest arm and left, but Bonds was a special player. I'll tell you this, too. I was fortunate enough to be in the Bay Area at the time when Ricky Henderson was in the other group with the A's. You'll never see 1,400 stolen bases ever stolen or ever matched again. Henderson was a freak show. 300 leadoff home runs, over 2,000 RBIs or runs scored. You talk about the 2 best players and most dynamic players I ever saw in one city. It was Ricky Henderson and Barry Bonds. You're not doctors. Sports writers all of a sudden became these so-called experts in PED use, and you have no idea what your PEDs, okay? Growth hormone is not a steroid. It's a human growth hormone was given for dwarfism and for the elderly when they started getting atrophy. You know all those wellness centers you see in Florida? They give them human growth. It was given for dwarfism and, again, for elderly people. It's not a steroid. And I love how people just, oh, he's taking steroid. He's not a juicer. Now, did it help him? Absolutely. Those warning track shots. But Bonds' eye, best of all time. On base percentage, the walks. Roger Maris's kid doesn't know shit. You should keep your face shut, guy. All right, let's move on here. Help me out here, guys. Okay? Help me out here. If you think I'm wrong here, I'm going to come up with, I got some grades here. First month of the season. Let's start in the NFC East. And let's start with the Eagles. What grade would you give them so far in the first month of the year? What grade would you give your Eagles? I got a grade. What grade would you give the Philadelphia Eagles for their first month of football in the first month of September? A plus, F. Really? B plus. B plus. Okay? A plus, plus, plus. I gave the Eagles an A plus. I think they won these games in these 3 games 3 different ways. The quarterback is playing A plus. The coaching staff is playing A plus. Guys, that's a really great performance for the first month of the season. I give the Eagles A plus. How about the Dallas Cowboys? What grade would you give the Dallas Cowboys? I think you may be shocked here. They lose Dak, and they're still sitting at 2-1. Okay? What would you give the Cowboys? B? A? B minus? B plus? B? Offensive line A plus? Stacy says. I gave the Cowboys a B plus. Overcoming the injury of Dak, and they're winning, and they're looking not too bad. The Cowboys are going to be formidable in week 6, barring another catastrophic injury. And by the way, this just in, Dak Prescott was on the practice field today. That's going to be an interesting dynamic on what the Cowboys do and Mike McCarthy and Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones do. If this kid wins this weekend against Washington and he runs that record to 3-1, are you really going to take him out and put Dak Prescott back in? Now, I get it. You can't lose your job to an injury. However, I think they're playing better football with Cooper Rush. I'm not saying they're better. Okay? How about the Giants at 2-1? First month of the season, what do you give the New York Giants? What would you give them? I hate to say it, but their defense is fast. Yeah, they are, especially on the perimeter. I thought excited about their tackles. I know, man. I'll talk about Coolio later. That's crazy, huh? C plus, C plus. That's kind of what I did, guys. Richie, Chad. You know, I mean, I gave him a C plus. Look, and I'm not gonna give an F out to anybody here in the first month of the season. But Washington's so close to it, man. That's a D minus. I don't even need you guys to chime in on that one. Washington's a train wreck, man. And boy, I'll tell you, you're watching a guy just in Carson Wentz. Am I right when I say this? As much as we saw Carson Wentz up here, have you ever seen a quarterback in NFL history nosedive? As much as Jalen is skyrocketing, Isn't it the polar opposite when you're talking about Carson Wentz's demise? I don't think I've ever seen a guy like every week get worse. I mean, he's just falling. I mean, get this. He's not tumbling down the hill like he fell off a cliff. I don't think I've ever seen this. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. NFC North, let's go over there. What grade would you give the Vikings? Okay? What grade would you give the Vikings? 2-1 on the season. They escaped this last week. Okay? I mean, I thought they got away with a win against Detroit. A B? B minus B? I gave them a B. I gave the Vikings a B. I think they're right there in that conversation. How about the Packers? I gave the Packers a B. Detroit lost that game. Their head coach lost that game. If that's where you're going, you're right. Underperform. Hey, look at Blake. That's a great take right there. That's a great take. An underperforming B minus. I like that take. I didn't give him a B minus. I gave him a B, but you're right. I think they're underperforming because of the wide receiver position. Okay? I think when you look at them, even when they beat the Bucs, I thought their wide receiver core was starting to come around a little more. So I saw a little bit of that, It's getting better every week. I think they're going to be a pretty good football team, barring any injuries, when they get to Lincoln Financial in week 12. I think they're going to be pretty good. I know, 205. You're right. They're going to get a B, but they feel like a C. I get it. You're right. They feel average. Like they don't feel like one of your better teams in the – I agree with you. I agree with you on that. I do. Bears, I came to a C+ with those guys. They're winning ball games. They're winning ball games because you know why? The kid Justin Fields is a competitor. He's a competitor. He's just not good enough. And he doesn't have good enough pieces around him. But he is a competitor. I'll tell you one thing about Justin Fields that I do like. He wants to win. There's a winning dynamic about him. He's contagious. There's just not enough good players around him. And there's no good coaching around him. Like, I wish Jalen Hurts could talk to him, and maybe I wish Justin Fields had the coaching staff in Philadelphia and go to Chicago and help him because he needs coaching. If you look at Justin Fields in Chicago, okay, don't you agree? He needs coaching. Because we don't really know what he is. I just don't see the coaching. I think the Lions are a C+. Okay? Last year, they were an F. I think they're a C+. I think they're getting better. I think they got to get better in their coaching staff, too. Dan Campbell, man, can't be the issue on losing ball games. Dude, you better leave that up to your players or you're going to lose your locker room. You start doing stupid shit out there, costing your team games, not going for field goals and such, going for it on fourth downs and uncool situations, you're going to lose your locker room faster than you want it. All that Hulk Hogan talk, it's all good and all. You know why Nick Sirianni gets away with the T-shirts and the Tiger Woods videos and all that other shit? You know why he gets away with it? He gets away with it because he's winning. You start wearing T-shirts and talking about planting flowers and all that other stuff and you're losing? I mean, shit, man. You come off like a clown. Jared Goff does look good under him, though. Dude, I'll tell you one thing. Jared Goff is turning his career around in Detroit. Who would have thought that Detroit may have a decision to make on getting a quarterback or not? He's playing some pretty good football. He's not terrible right now, is my point. He's just so tragically inconsistent. But he's been consistent in the first month of the season. NFC South. Boy, this is a horrible division. And watch this when I say this about the Bucs. An uninspired B plus. When I think of the Bucs, like watch this. When I talk about the Eagles, I gave them an A plus and went like this. Dude, they haven't even really played their best ball yet. I haven't seen a complete ball game by the Eagles yet. And the last 2 ball games have not been competitive. So when I keep saying here going, the Eagles ain't playing, they're still kicking the shit out of them, and they got their foot on their throat. And I know you guys are talking about that second half. It may bite them down the road. We'll see. But right now, man, the last 2 games were never in question. You never thought any of those teams were coming back to beat them, right? Detroit really actually gave you your toughest challenge of the year so far. But when I look at the Bucs, outside of their defense, I'm doing this. That Buck offense ain't scaring me right now. I know there's a ton of injuries. I got it. I get all the ton of injuries there. But if I'm the Eagles, I wouldn't be as nervous rolling into that game this time like I was in January. The Panthers, D+. It's a shit show under Matt Rule. I don't know how he's working. Shows you don't have to be a very good coach. Look at Dennis Allen, D+. They're playing over in London. He's the same guy that was with the Raiders. I don't see anything different. And Jameis Winston, hey, by the way, hope the Saints lose. That could be a top 5 pick by the time they get back from London for the Eagles. You're in the 7-hole right now with that pick. 7-hole. You're 7th. You could come back from London. That pick might be 5th. What a mistake. Mickey Loomis, who needs a first-round pick quarterback so bad, traded that pick away. Man, Falcons, they're playing better. Okay? C-. Okay? They're playing better. The only reason I gave him a C- too is because I like Marcus Mariota. Right? I don't know, man. NFC West. How many people look at the Rams? What would you guys give the Rams right now, first month of the season? How well do you think they're playing? A, B, C, or D? Okay. I don't believe they're a D. I clearly don't believe they're an F. And I don't really believe they're a C. Okay. So again, though, when I look at the Rams, I'm going to say this, an uninspired B-. You know what I mean? Just, you hung on to beat Atlanta. You hung on to beat the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are decent. By the way, I want to make a comment about the Cardinals here in a second. In Kyler Murray. Okay, and you know what? I'm even going to tweet it out too. 49ers can't get their shit together with that quarterback spot. I gave him a C+. I think the Niners are kind of like, they're teetering. Either the Niners are going to have a really good year and they're going to gather themselves, or they're going to go in the tank. Wouldn't you guys agree? The 49ers have had self-inflicted wounds for the last 2 years in how they've handled Jimmy Garoppolo and how they've handled Trey Lance. They have not handled that well. And the rest of the team sees it. A killer defense. You guys are right. I think they got a great defense. Seattle, D+, another one of those floundering programs. Let me say this to you about the Cardinals. You'll never win a Super Bowl with Kyler Murray. No way. One, I don't like the style. Secondly, I don't like the person and how he conducts himself as a starting quarterback. Personally, I have nothing against him. I don't know him personally. But between his immaturity and his style, there is no way on the planet that guy takes that Cardinal team to a Super Bowl. So here, in effect, is another quarterback that you gave $46.1 million to because he's fun to watch and he draws tickets. And people go into the seats to buy his gear. They go and buy all the stuff that's Kyler Murray. But when it comes to winning games, you're talking about another Michael Vick 2.0. See, I don't think Jalen is Vick 2.0. I think he's closer to being what Russell Wilson was. I'm not saying he's got the talent of Russell Wilson yet, but I think he wants to evolve more into that than Vick. Because I believe he knows Vick's style doesn't win. Kyler Murray's more like, and I would say almost to a T, more like Michael Vick. And I don't see it. All right, I want to get to the AFC next. I want to do that. Please hit the like button. We'll do the AFC. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me on Kyler Murray, but that guy will never win a Super Bowl, in my opinion. I just don't see it. Keep it here. Hit the like button. Keep it here on the National Football Show.